Hi, friends, and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about tackling those tough conversation topics with our kids. Now, I'm sure that you can relate that when it comes down to talking about some heavier, maybe more complex, difficult, or scary topics with our kids, even the most steadfast parent can find it a bit overwhelming. So today we're going to dive into some supportive strategies that you can use when you've got something really important that you need to talk to your kids about. No matter where you are on your path, you belong here. Not so bad. You've got the power to take control over how you feel about yourself and to boost your self-esteem. Just this past week, I've had a situation in my own family that required me to have a serious conversation with my daughter. My mother is going through some medical issues, and sharing with my daughter about the things that her grandmother is going through has felt for me at times a bit overwhelming and a bit scary too. It's never easy for us parents to sit down and have a conversation with our kids that we know can make them possibly feel scared, nervous, afraid, or sad. But we have to be as brave as our kids need us to be and tackle these kinds of topics with honesty, openness, and yes, even a bit of courage to make sure that they are informed of what's going on within their family, their school, their community, and just the world around them. So when things are happening in your family and you know it's time to sit down and have a conversation with your child about it, there are 3 things that you can do to really kind of set the stage and help you make the conversation as smooth as possible. First thing, cuddle up and listen deeply. When I was growing up and having any kind of issue, whether it was related to my medical treatments for my cleft or issues with friends at school, one of the things that my mom and I did often was what we called our ice cream chats. We would get in the car and go down to our local Dairy Queen, get ourselves a soft serve, and sit in the parking lot and talk. And I don't know, it was just something about being out of the house, not in our normal place, where it felt like the conversation could flow a little bit easier. I didn't feel as nervous or anxious to share with her how I was feeling. And what would end up happening is we would talk about various things that weren't really about the issue that maybe I wanted to talk about or she wanted to talk about, but eventually we would get there. So creating those safe spaces where you both feel comfortable, and sometimes that could, again, be getting out of the house, getting out of your normal place, doing something different, going for a walk. The environment sets the stage for the kind of conversation that you want to have. Next step, start with curiosity, not explanation. Oftentimes we can just want to go through the facts and get everything out with our kids. Like my situation right now with my family is I wanted to just, here's what's happening, here's what's going to happen, here's the results. But that often isn't the best approach when we're talking to kids about some of these heavier topics. Because depending on their age, they may not have the vocabulary to articulate exactly what it is that they're feeling. And when we just go in headstrong with all the things from A to Z about what's happening, it doesn't quite give them time to think about, formulate, and share with us how they're feeling. So instead of launching into explanations, start with asking some open-ended questions. Like with my situation with my family, things have been going on for a little while. So I asked my daughter, what have you been thinking about this situation with Grandma? Has anything new come up that you want to talk about? By doing this kind of approach, approaching with curiosity, it shows them that you're interested in what they're thinking and feeling and can help them feel supported to express themselves freely without judgment. And finally, speak their language and share your heart. Depending on how old your kid is, the words that you use will vary because, again, an 8-year-old may not be able to understand the same topic using the same words that a 15-year-old can. And you want to avoid overwhelming them with complex terms or too much graphic detail that can easily overwhelm them. The thing to remember here is that honesty is key. When I was growing up, my parents could have easily chosen the path of sugarcoating and not giving me the respect, frankly, of telling me the truth about the upcoming surgeries, dental treatments, and having those honest, open conversations that when I asked, will it hurt when I get my IV at the hospital? They answered yes, because it does. But then, by talking through the rest of the procedure, reminding me that the doctors and nurses are there to take good care of me, that there will be things that will help with my pain. It helped to alleviate my fear a little bit because I knew what was going to happen. Things weren't just sprung on me and I had to just react in the moment. Because we certainly don't want to see our kids in pain, but we don't want to see our kids in pain because we were not honest with them. So instead of saying something like, oh, there's nothing to worry about, which might sound dismissive to your kid, try something like, I know this feels a bit scary. I feel a bit scared too, but we'll get through it together. So there are 3 things that you can do right there that can help set the stage for a warm and open and honest conversation with your kid about difficult, heavier topics. And remember, many times these conversations are not just one and done. They will be conversations that will happen over a period of time. And especially when your kids are young, you can't give them all the information all at once. You've got to dole it out in little bits, give them time to process, think about questions, and be open and receptive when they want to talk about it. So be patient. Listen openly, and most importantly, be there for your kids with love and support. Because by creating a safe space for your kids for open communication, you're actually empowering them with tools and skills to navigate life's challenges with confidence and resilience. Thanks for joining me today. If you like this content, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button and share this with other parents who you think might enjoy it. And I'd love to hear ways that you set the stage when dealing with these bigger, tougher conversations with your kids. Leave me a note down in the comments, and I'll see you next time. No matter where you are on your path, you belong here. Not so bad. You've got the power to take control over how you feel about yourself and to boost your self-esteem.